on. It might be a little lower than I thought here. Okay, now I can see my face, so I'm gonna do this. I don't know if I can flex it. Maybe? No. Oh. I'll have to stack some games up. I think that might work. Let's see. Catch my beautiful face here. If it'll let me, I don't know if that'll work or not. Lean back. Will that work? Lean back a bit. Alright. Alright, guys. This is Cruiser83. I'm back. It's been a while. I apologize for the waitingness, but now that I got everything I wanted set up, I actually have a guest with me. He's currently in the party right now, so introduce yourself. Alright, so what we're going to be talking about today is we're going to concentrate on the main series of Resident Evil. We're not going to do the spin-offs. That'll be next week's topic, so no Revelations, no Outbreak, no Code Veronica, any of that stuff, so that's next week, so you guys will have to wait for that. But this podcast will contain spoilers of the main series, so if you haven't played them yet, play them now, and come back to this video. But if you guys have questions, we do have a Q&A session at the end, so stick around for that. So, the first game we're going to be talking about is Resident Evil 0. Now, this game originally came out on the GameCube, so I actually have the original right here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that's the original one. And basically, this game was a 2-disc game on the GameCube when it first came out. Now, it did get imported to the PS4, but I got the Origin, so I actually ended up getting... This was a decently fair price game. I paid, I think, about... I think 30 for it, I want to say, maybe 40 for 2 games. So it's not terrible. It's pretty much what you expect. It's an import of the GameCube. If you played the GameCube version, you know what you're in for. The controls...
Now, they remastered the graphics, though, too, right?
Yes, they did.
Oh.
And this was an original IP, actually, so this was the very first of its kind to be on the GameCube.
Oh, wow.
For a good while. Yeah, because Nintendo figured, hey, let's throw an M-rated game on there, because, you know...
Which is surprising for them to do.
Yes, and they didn't really have, you know, spots for that, but for a GameCube controller to play on it, it's not bad. It's pretty decent. You would think it would throw people off a bit, but no. The controls were pretty solid. There are some things I don't like about that, but we'll get to that at the end. So, basically, the concept of Zero was... It was basically Bravo Team's mission to figure out what was going on with the virus outbreak. And everything. Granted, they didn't find out what actually happened until the end of the game, mind you, so... But... The premise was basically to hunt down a convict named Billy Cohen. They did find him. Rebecca found him. And basically it went from, I'm going to try to arrest you, to, okay, let's work together to survive. And that's pretty much what they ended up doing. So they survived. The inventory system, I have to say, was kind of mixed. Because it was half and half. Like, if you didn't help one person or the other, you would get a game over, and that's kind of a bummer. It's like, because you figure, hey, the one person dies, you can still keep going. No, this game relies on you to share with weapons, items, what have you. And of course, back then, you had to use the C-stick to move Billy if he was with you, which was kind of annoying, in my opinion, but...
So you were controlling 2 at once.
Exactly, yes. Controlling 2 at the same time.
That's a little tough.
It's a toughie, I won't lie. It's definitely tough. Bosses? Hit or miss. They weren't terrible, but they weren't bad. They weren't that good either,
Just
honestly.
Nothing phenomenal. It wasn't a tyrant or anything like that.
Yes, exactly. There's just nothing going on, pretty much. But as far as the virus goes, this was the Prenogenitor virus. at the time, and this virus was carried by leeches, of all things. Believe that, leeches. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
You know. And of course, Marcus was involved in it, so Marcus Spencer, was the founder of Umbrella, of course. And then you had another founder of Umbrella, but we'll get to him later, in the later games. But, long story short, the game is not terribly long. The puzzles are about average, I would say. They're not very tough. I mean, there's lots of logic behind every one of them. What else to say about Zero? I mean, it's a fun game. Yeah.
It was a kind of a quick put together.
Yeah, just
like a prequel, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. And some of the enemies were kind of annoying, I won't lie. Like the giant frogs. I won't lie. Those things are annoying, and they will kill you in one hit if you let them.
Right.
Yeah, nothing else about Zero going on. Rebecca had her own game. That was her game. Rebecca Chambers, as you know, she is part of Bravo Team. Right. And basically at the end of it, Billy basically said, okay, I'm going to be a zombie. You haven't heard from me. Whatever. The end. And then Rebecca lets him go. That's the end of the game.
That's the last time we hear from Billy?
Yep. You don't ever see him again. Not for a good while.
Now, Resident Evil Zero was also ported to the Wii and the Nintendo Switch. Is that correct?
Yes, the Switch got it way later. The Wii got it in actually two forms, believe it or not. The first form was called Resident Evil Archives, which was basically the classics going onto the Wii, which is what Capcom did, and the other spectrum of that is, of course, that's a spin-off, so that's going to be for next week. Those will be spin-off games, because that goes into that little scenario thing there, so I won't talk too much about that.
Yeah, it was actually ported just last year on the Switch.
Yes.
So, just recently. So the game's still coming around, still making its rounds.
Yep, it's getting there. Alright, so done with Zero. Now we're going to talk about Resident Evil 1.
Sounds
good. This game originally came out on PlayStation.
1998.
98, yes. And of course, back then, let's just say graphics weren't pretty back then.
22 years ago, right.
Yeah. And they used actors as people to voice the characters, which I thought was kind of cool. And of course, when I first played Resident Evil 1, I instantly thought of my gym teacher as Barry, because he looked almost identical to him, I swear. If you looked at his face, I'm like, that is hilarious. But
You're right, Barry looks like a gym teacher.
He does. But this is the GameCube version we're talking about now. This game, another GameCube one, another original IP. Now, Capcom decided to go full-blown on this game, and let me tell you, this game is crazy. And this was also a 2-disc game on the GameCube. Because of how good the graphics were on it, it can only go up to 2 mini discs, because the GameCube discs are really tiny. They're small. They can't hold as much. And of course, I'm cheating using the same cover, because I ended up getting, again, this is 0 and 1 in one game, which was Origin Collection. And that's how that one is. And now, a lot of people, when they play this game, there is a glitch in this game they haven't taken away. Now, it's a simple glitch. I'm not sure if a lot of people know this, but...
You taught me it.
Yes, in the original game, even in the director's cut, they still kept this code, mind you.
Wow.
All you had to do was go in and out of the dining room and wait for Wesker to say, investigate gunfire. Now, in the original game, with the hand clip bullets, you only were able to get 15.
Okay.
But if you did the glitch in the original, you ended up with 30. So that's double the amount you would normally get in the game.
Very helpful in a Resident Evil game.
Oh my gosh. And it not only worked for the handgun ammunition, but anything weaponized you picked up was instantly doubled. Now, think about that. Instantly doubled. That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's your only other option. That's your only option is your ammo because you have to have the ink ribbons to save your game. So if you don't have those, if you're out of luck with those, at least you got your double ammo.
Right. And of course, there's the knife, but again, those are for more the speedsters or if they know what they're doing type people.
Right.
I cannot do that. I am not that hardcore yet in the game, so
Right.
I cannot be doing that. Another thing to consider is costume changes at the end of the game. They actually imported Resident Evil 5 costumes in this version.
Yeah, that was interesting that they chose those.
Yeah, I was a little surprised about that. And of course, you can get the Resident Evil 3 costume for Jill if you beat the game twice. It doesn't matter what difficulty you get it in.
Okay.
It is in there. So,
okay.
As far as the graphics go, they're superb. I like the story. I like the enemy designs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like Lisa Trevor. Oh my goodness. Why they add her into the game is beyond me, but
I like that they added her, though. I mean, it put a new spin on the game a little bit, you know?
It does. It really
Gives
does.
you something extra to do.
Yes.
I was looking up.
Yep.
I was looking up the original. Like, it only took about 5 hours to beat, and then these new ones are like 10 to 12 hours. So that's a extra 6-7 hours of gameplay right there.
At least, yeah. It's pretty crazy how that works out. There we go. Okay, they can see me a little better now. All right, but yeah. Sorry about the camera. It's a little low. But long story short, 1 is a superb game. If you haven't played it, I recommend you do so. It is fun. Controls are not as tanky as the original, but they're close. They're pretty close. Now, the characters in this are Jill and Chris, which are from Alpha Team.
Mm-hmm.
And the only other Zero character you see in this is Rebecca Chambers from Bravo Team. That's it.
That's if you do Chris's story, correct?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought, yeah.
And you see Enrico too, but he meets an untimely death, unfortunately. But,
yes, yeah.
But
actually, you see he's the first death that you see, isn't he?
No, it's when you first start the game with Jill, it's Barry and Wesker. If you start it with Chris, it's just Wesker and Jill.
That's right.
So, but yeah,
I do like how they give you 2 sides to pick. Like you could do Chris's story or Jill's story, and you do get different stories. You know, the same outcome, but different stories of stuff to do. So it's like 2 games in 1.
Yes. Yeah, I enjoyed that very much. Actually, I like the fact that they did that. Kept it that way.
I think what a lot of people always worry about with these Resident Evil games is the cinematic views that, you know, the director wanted to do. I mean, I'll be honest, I was a little like, I don't know about this, but it took me maybe about 15 minutes to get used to it, and it's nothing.
Right. It's good. It's a fun game. I said, if you guys haven't played these games, try them out for yourselves. Be the judge of them. Like I said, this is my opinion of them. I think they're good, personally, because I've grown up with them. So, I mean, to each their own. Let's see, anything else about 1 we want to talk about? Oh, the Tyrant. Oh, my goodness, the Tyrant.
Oh, yeah.
Big baddie at the end of the game. Well, he was intimidating.
He was. He wears his heart on the outside.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't say many monsters that would be brave enough to do that. So,
right. Oh, well, also, you remember also you find out that it's a zombie game, so obviously headshots to kill them, but also burning the bodies. There's reasons for that.
Because if you didn't burn them, if you didn't burn the zombies in this version, they became Crimson Heads, and let me tell you, they're nasty. They are
they
nasty.
start running at you.
Yes.
And then I believe hunters. Is that what they are?
Oh yes, the amphibian frog
Yes.
anthropomorphic hunters. Yes, they're
Yeah, those
annoying
are
as sin.
crazy.
The only way you could kill them efficiently was either with a magnum, a grenade launcher, or a shotgun.
If you use the pistol, good luck. You'll be shooting them. You'll be wasting clips on them.
Yes, yes, you will be. Um, yeah, I mean, other than that, the game is good. I have no
Yeah,
complaints about it.
I would recommend getting that one. Honestly, still today, it holds up today.
All right, now the one we've all been waiting for, Resident Evil 2, and I got the right here, the remake of Resident Evil 2. Now, mind you, this is a remake, not the original. Okay.
Yes, remake, not remastered, not HD, none of that. This is a remake.
Yeah, they worked this game from the ground up, and it
That's
shows.
crazy. What a company.
Totally shows how dedicated they are to their fans. This is what we need. More companies like this to be doing that. And of course they used the Resident Evil engine on this game, which again, I'm going to be talking about later if you guys don't know what that is, so don't worry about it. This game scenario is an outbreak of the T-virus. The G-virus, sorry. My bad.
Correct.
Resident Evil 1 was the T-virus. This is the G-virus now.
Yeah, this is set 2 months after the events of the first one, I believe.
Yes. A couple months after, actually.
Yes.
And with our protagonists, we have Leon Kennedy and Claire Redfield. Interesting pair, I would say.
It is. It was good to put another Redfield in there, to kind of tie in the first game.
Yes. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people were thinking Eliza was going to be in this game, but she wasn't, because of the fact that usually they were in development with this game for a while now. Resident Evil 2. This is the original I'm talking about now.
Okay.
She was gonna be Eliza. There wasn't gonna be another Redfield. They didn't think about putting a Redfield in this one, but they decided to do it only because it made sense through the lore, and fans would get it, and consumers would get it, the story a little more if they put another Redfield in. So they did that instead. So. But you can still get Eliza's outfit in the game for Claire.
How do you get that?
I believe if you pre-order the deluxe, you can get it that way.
Okay.
Or you can pay for it, I believe, as DLC.
Gotcha.
That's a little tidbit, of course, but this game is really good. I know you're still playing it, DG, so if I spoil it...
Go ahead.
Okay, okay.
No, go ahead.
Alright, so there's some slight differences in this one than the original.
I would like to know the differences, too.
Okay. So, first of all, we're going to start with the obvious, the graphics. They're just leaps and bounds from what they were on the PlayStation. Leaps and bounds.
They're honestly leaps and bounds for the PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
Because these graphics are insane.
Yes, they are insanely good. Now, the way things start out, the opening cinematic, we'll start there, because in the opening, in the original, there was a gas station, but Leon and Claire didn't go to the gas station. In the original, if you paid really close attention to that detail, they really didn't. Pretty much what happened was, I think Claire got to a diner, and that's how she met Leon in the original game, because in the original game of Leon's opening sequence, he went by Jeep.
Okay.
So, I think they kept that for the most part in this remake. I'm pretty sure they did. If not, I don't... Oh, maybe they didn't. I think it was a police car. No, he ended up taking a police car, that's right.
He did, yeah.
He did, at the gas station. He did do that, that's right. But that little tidbit right there should indicate you're in for a wild ride, because going into a gas station is kind of creepy in itself when no one's around. Like, that raises some suspicion in the world. Like, thinking, wait a minute, something's not right here. Like, why am I going
That's exactly what I was going to say. That first scene when you're playing on the remake I'm talking here.
Yes.
When you play that gas station scenario right there, that is the tone for the entire game.
Yep.
So.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and let's not to mention how crazy the zombies are in this one. Oh, my goodness. They are. Wow.
Yeah, they're pretty relentless.
Yeah.
Like, I go through a door after door. There's always another one coming.
Oh, yeah. And of course, you have to board up the windows, which I like in this one, because in the original, they didn't let you do that.
Oh, cool. Okay. I like that, yeah.
Yeah, they never did that in the original. The controls are pretty much, from what I remember, from the original to this one. I mean, there's somewhat of a transition.
Mm-hmm.
The only differences is the triggers are actually triggers, like you hold L2 to aim and then R2 to fire.
It feels good. The shooting feels really good.
It does. It's not like the original where you hold a trigger and then you have to press a button to load and then press a button again to fire.
Right.
But you can, I guess you can have that if you want, but...
Now, you couldn't keep moving in the original either, number 2, right?
No, they
okay.
no, they actually improved on that.
I
with
do
this
like
one,
that you can move
which
now,
I like
yes.
a lot too. Over the shoulder is a nice view for the game. And then Leon's story is interesting.
It is.
Now, a lot of people think that if you beat the first scenario, that's the end of the game. No, it is not. If you beat the second scenario of each character, then you've beaten the game. Because there's
so
two
there's
of the
really
scenarios.
4 playthroughs?
Yes.
There, okay. That's worth your money right there.
Yep. And what else is there? All the enemies. Oh my goodness. The enemies design are so good. Oh my goodness. I don't know where to begin on this. They are really well done.
Well, before we start on the enemies, this is the first time that Ada Wong is introduced into the series, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, she does play a pretty pivotal role throughout the series, I feel like, you know?
Yeah, she does. Okay, the dogs are interesting. They're pretty good. Zombies are good. Lickers. Oh my gosh, the lickers. Oh. Oh man. They are menacing looking in this remake. I won't lie. They're very menacing. And they will hear you if you run. So if
so you need to walk.
So you need to walk very slowly. They are blind, but they can sense you. They have like a bat almost, I would say, for their senses. So the only way to kill them: grenade launcher, shotgun, pistols. Not even not even worth it. They're sponges with that. Don't even waste bullets on that. And then of course we got Mr. X, the relentless tyrant.
Ah, yes.
Oh,
I know him.
he is a pain in the remake.
Is he?
Let's just say if you have a good pair of headphones, you can hear him coming from like a mile away.
Oh, Lord, that's freaky.
Yes. And
they do a good job with the horror stuff. Like, you hear, every door you go through, you hear little noises, and you're like, what was that? What was that?
Yep. Gets you going. And of course the puzzles change in the remake.
Right. Which is good. Keep the game fresh.
Yeah, I agree. I like the changes. I gotta get used to them, but I do like them.
Right.
Not too bad. And then, of course, after that, what else in Leon's story? Oh yes, the giant Crocogator. How could I forget about him? Well, let me tell you, they upgraded the bejesus out of him in this remake, and I was scared. Like, relentless. Like, I didn't know what to do on my first try, honestly. I ran and ran, and I'm, like, thinking, okay, how am I going to kill this thing? They still kept his weakness, so don't worry, guys. His weakness is still there from the original. They paid homage to it, which I'm happy. So you can kill this thing. It is killable, so don't worry. It is killable. Who else? And surprisingly, there are no spiders in the remake.
Oh wow,
they took them out completely. They were in the original, but they took them out in the remake version.
Interesting.
Yes. And what other enemies did they take out? Oh, they took out the moth boss in
Oh, really?
the remake. Yes, there is no moth boss in the remake.
They didn't replace it with anything?
Nope, they just completely removed it.
Huh.
Which I'm fine with. I mean, it's not needed, but some people would probably think, oh, well,
It's a
what
giant
about...
moth, yeah.
Yeah,
Who
exactly.
needs
Yeah, exactly. Like, who needs a moth boss, you know?
it? Yeah.
Oh yeah, and William Birkin himself. Well, he's got multiple forms in the remake. They kept that. They totally kept that, so you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, he infects himself with the G virus.
That is correct, yes.
Okay.
Yep. But ironically enough, the virus is spreaded by rats.
Of course. The good old lean back on rats.
Yep. But let's talk about the supporting cast. Now, Ada Wong. Now, she's interesting. They did an interesting take on her in the remake, which I like.
Okay.
She basically plays a double agent, which is normal. I expected that, you know, because in the original you find out she works for Umbrella.
Right.
And this one, it's kind of the opposite, I want to say, but her objectives are solid. She still wants the virus for herself and whatever, but it's there. It's there.
Right,
they kept it. They kept that. Sherry Birkin. Oh, she's interesting in Claire's scenario. Now, Sherry is William's daughter and Annette's daughter, if you guys didn't know about that. And of course, Chief Irons' death is basically the originals from Ben's.
Wow.
And Ben's death is interesting. They changed his death in the remake. They totally changed it. So, without going into too much detail of the game, because I know there's a lot of people still playing it, I am not going to spoil this for you, but if you guys are still playing it, good luck to you. Unfortunately, there are no cheats in this game, so I cannot exploit this one like I could the first one. So sorry guys, you're out of luck on that. If you want to look up locker combinations, there are websites on the internet you can go on for that, because that's what I ended up doing to do that section. Cause
that'll help, yeah, you get to upgrade your weapons and stuff.
not only that, but it helps. It's a lifesaver to have something like that.
Now, if you're one of the people that don't want to look it up, you can.
There are files in the game that help you do it later on if you want to be like that, but you'll be wasting a lot of time doing it that way, honestly.
Exactly.
But then again, to each their own. I'm not going to tell you guys how to play these games, so I mean...
Right.
But if you like the original, give the remake a shot. I guarantee you it will not disappoint you guys. It has not disappointed me at all. It is a solid game.
2 is really the first one, like, we find out who Umbrella is in the first one, all that, but this is where we find out how bad they really are, and then... This is now it's Umbrella versus Stars and all that, and and our heroes.
Yes, and they do make it out alive, so don't worry, guys. Nobody dies in the end of it, so you're good.
Thank you.
Although Leon gets critically injured, practically, he does get injured, but yeah, he lives to see another day.
Yeah, I mean he comes back, obviously.
All right, now Resident Evil 3.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my goodness. Where to begin on this one? Well, this takes place, I want to say... Actually, this takes place after 2. A little after 2. Not far away from 2, but...
Actually, it takes 24 hours prior to Resident Evil 2.
I have to stop you there because in Resident Evil 3, they end up blowing up the city.
Oh, okay. That's right.
So, in 3, you play as Jill Valentine, the original OG from Resident Evil 1, planning her escape. And, of course, we also have Carlos Oliveira from UBC, the USBC. I'm sorry if I pronounced these names wrong, my bad. It's been a long time since I played this one.
Right, same.
It's good. Resident Evil 3 is good. I'm not going to say it's a bad game. My only peeve about the game is the water puzzle. Oh my freaking god, I hated that puzzle to no end. I hated it, and I'm sure a lot of you guys did too. It took me forever to solve that, because I had to solve it's like a little graph. Okay, because the puzzle was a graph. You had to figure out, match little squares, icons, what have you. I just didn't care for that puzzle. I'm hoping they get rid of that in the remake. Oh my goodness, little heaven! If they do, I will be statically happy.
I was wondering the same thing, if they're gonna get rid of that or not, because it's so I guess well known of a puzzle, you know.
It is.
So they might just put it in there.
Maybe, but who knows? And of course, where do we begin? Okay, this is from. I guess this is the T virus now we're talking about, because it's not G anymore, so...
Right. No, you're right.
So, okay, the zombies are basically walking undead citizens in the third game.
Mm-hmm.
Just about. In the original. Now, mind you, in the remake, if you watch the newest trailer, some of the citizens actually escape to the tram car.
Oh, okay.
So there are survivors in the remake, which is good. So it makes you think, oh, okay, maybe not a lost cause or whatever, but there are some there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, who can forget Brad? Poor Brad Vickers.
Brad Vickers.
He ends up getting the short end of the stick in this game. Oh my goodness. I feel terrible for him.
Yes. But that introduces your enemy for the game, pretty much.
Yes, we'll get to that soon. But of course, as you were fighting the zombies, of course, in the original, they were kind enough to give you an assault rifle and a Gatling gun and all that. But I feel in the original, they're not going to do that. They're not going to hold your hand. I feel like it's going to be whatever weapons you get, save your ammunition because you're going to need it for whatever comes your way, what have you. Now, as you guys make it to the police station, okay, and the police station is involved in 2 and 3, but you see more of it in 2 than you do in 3. In 3, it's kind of like a segment you have to go through. So it's there. It's still there. Now, the original, the zombies were already in the police station too. So, I'm wondering in the remake if they're going to keep that or not. And if they are, how are they going to go about that? Because some of the windows were barricaded in the remake of 2. So, I'm wondering if that's going to carry over in the remake or not. I'm not sure. It would be an interesting take on that, but...
Capcom does pay attention to detail, so...
Exactly. It's just those little things can make a humongous difference. But I digress. So... as you're about to do what you gotta do, Nemesis makes an appearance in the police station in the original. And pretty much goes after you through most of the game, pretty much. 99% of the game he goes after you, the 1% he usually doesn't, so I mean...
I know.
It's crazy.
I think Nemesis as an enemy is just... I think it's awesome. I really liked Nemesis, and I just think that was a great antagonist to have.
Oh, without a doubt. So. He is the mutated tyrant, so yeah. Someone you didn't want to meet at a dark alley. I wouldn't want to meet him at dark alley.
No.
But let's see. Enemies in the original. We have hunters. We have zombies. I believe dogs were in the original too. Spiders, I think, made an appearance. I don't remember if they did or not. And... oh yeah, we can't forget the giant worm.
Oh yeah.
Had to fight that in the original. I don't know if they're going to put that back in the remake or not.
I wonder... I'm so curious what's going to happen with this remake, because, like I said, Resident Evil 3 to me, it was a very special game to me.
Right.
I don't know why, there's just something about it.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a good game. Now, am I excited for the remake? Yes, I am. Will I buy it in day one? Yeah, I'd give it a shot. Why not? I mean... okay.
I most likely will be, too.
Now, from what I heard in the remake, it's going to be the story might lean more towards Carlos than Jill.
Okay, I could see that.
Which could happen, I mean... granted, Jill had a decent amount of gameplay in the original.
Oh yeah, she did.
And of course, Carlos did too, to a degree. Now, here's my thing. is Nemesis going to infect her with the virus again, like he did with her in the remake?
True. Yeah. I remember that. Yeah, I know. I wonder. There's so many questions for this remake because of how much they changed from the original 2 to the remake of 2. You know?
Yeah. Now here's the thing. Also, now now Jill, when she was infected, she was lying on a pedestal, if you will, at the church, at the altar.
Mhm.
Now, are they going to keep that, or are they going to do something else
yeah.
entirely with her infection? Because it seems like in the trailer, she was like slowly turning into a zombie when she was looking in the mirror. But
I like that.
I like that premise too. But now, is that telling me that she's already infected and we don't know about this, or are we going to find the antivirus? Like, is that going to be the goal of the game for her? Like, because obviously she's got to survive somehow because she makes it into later installments. So I mean,
right? Yeah, exactly.
So it's gotta have to work.
I know. I can't wait. And this is also with Carlos. This is the first time an Umbrella employee is helping out stars. You know.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like enemy. Your enemy is your friend, or whatever.
But this specific unit was the Umbrella counter
Oh,
force.
that's right.
They were called in to clean up the mess of their company, to cover up everything. So, yeah, I would hate to have a job like that.
Yeah, I know.
I really would.
I can't wait. Like after just playing this remake of 2 for a little while, 3 I think is going to be fantastic.
Oh, I agree. I think 3 is going to do fairly well. I can't see it being bad. I really can't.
Me neither.
Alright, so that's 3. Now we'll talk about Resident Evil 4. Oh, man.
Good old classic.
Yes. Again.
This was my first Resident Evil on GameCube, actually.
I still have the original copy right here. It's got a bunch of stickers on it, yeah. I did buy it.
That's cool.
I mean, it's cool.
It's a 2-disc also, just like all the other ones.
Yep, a 2-disc game, just like Mike Fanny here said. And, of course, I got... This is the import of the GameCube on the PS4. Right here.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Very
right
nice.
There. Yeah. And it's not big. It's only 6.5 gigs. So that's not terrible.
Bad.
So, I mean...
Not bad at all.
It's there. And, of course, this takes place years after now. This is years after Resident Evil 3. Because by this point, the city's blown up to quarantine the T-virus. And
Leon has become a U.S. government agent, I believe. Is that right? Okay.
Yes, he is helping the United States purge the world, as some would say, I guess, from, bioterrorism.
Right.
So, and unfortunately, he is the only playable character in the game. There are... Yes. Now, I guess Ashley's kind of a support, I guess, but she doesn't really do much other than complain and get captured, like, all the time, pretty much, in this game, which is kind of annoying.
Yes.
And the game is, I won't lie, this game is kind of like an escort mission for about, I want to say about 75% of the game is mostly that, but there are times you don't really need an escorter because you got to do your own thing to survive.
Now these
Europe or whatever.
They're not called zombies. It's a plague or something. Correct?
Now this virus is called the Las Plagas. This virus is completely different. It's basically a parasite virus. So what this parasite does to the host is basically controls them from the inside. It makes them act violently towards hostiles or whatever. And of course, Sadler has the staff, which is basically, he's the big baddie of the game. So we got him, and we got Salazar, who's his, I guess, man, I don't know if we want to call right-hand man, I guess, maybe. I don't know, but he gets infected too. And of course, the village chief. He's a dick, by the way. I hate him. He's a complete asshole, so he's a dick. But, enemies in the game aren't that bad. It's mostly people. And then you have the El Giante.
This was also the first Resident Evil where they went with the behind the back.
Yes,
view.
this is when they went with over the shoulder.
Yeah, over the shoulder. Yeah, this was. I think it was a good. I think they did a good job with doing that. I think that was a smart move to do.
Yes, I enjoyed that very much.
Yes.
The gameplay's solid. I love the controls. My only pet peeve of the import version of the 4, you cannot platinum this game. There are no platinums on this.
Oh, wow.
Whatsoever. They took out a platinum trophy completely, which I was kind of upset about, but I
They
guess
still
not
do
every
have
game.
trophies, though?
There are trophies. They go only up to silver, so there's no platinum.
Huh.
There's golds. But yeah, it's the only game that doesn't have a platinum, surprisingly. No platinum trophy. But it's still a good game. I like it. The weapons I like. I like the story. Even though I find Ashley really irritating at times. It's like, I just want them to kill her sometimes. It's like, because she acts so stupid. It's like, oh, they just...
Damn president's daughter.
Yeah, just like, take it, you know. I'll take it. Just take it. Ugh. And all the cultists, you know, there they go and doing their thing, and yeah.
Yeah, these are actually like people that you're killing, really.
Oh, yeah.
They're not really infected, I guess you could say.
Well, they kind of are with the parasite, so I mean,
with the parasite, yeah. Now, like, this one did get some awesome reviews. Like, it had almost 100 out of 100 by Metacritic, so they did... Capcom knows what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
And Ada 1 makes an appearance in this one as well. She comes back.
Oh, yes. Okay.
And also, but this time she's working for Wesker. From the original Resident Evil. Now, everyone thinks he's dead, but he somehow survives. Wonder how that happened. I have to thank Umbrella for that one. Maybe he knew the Tyrant was going to do something to kill him, so he probably injected himself with some virus or something. So, who knows? Anyway, she gets the Plaga sample in the end. So, and of course, Leon escapes with the president's daughter, and the only one that dies is Krauser.
Okay.
Because
so no deaths really.
Krauser's the only one that dies because you have to kill him. So I mean, because he got infected with the Plagas virus.
Okay. Yeah, he was one of the ones working with Wesker too.
Yep.
Okay.
And that is it for 4. Now let's go to 5. All right.
Alrighty.
Now, I actually have an original copy on the PS3, but this is the gold edition.
No.
Which, you know, comes with an actual book. Oh my goodness, and then a disc.
Oh, what?
So,
actual book. That's ancient.
I know. Talk about that, right? Now, here's the remake. You know, here's the import. Now, this import and the one I showed already are basically the same game, believe it or not. These are actually
now,
just
did they remaster any of it? Like the graphics, any of that?
The graphics are pretty close to the 3, I have to say.
Okay.
There is no, everything is. It's basically a reskin. This game is what I call a reskin. All they did was just say, okay, we'll let people play this game from the 3 to the 4, and that's what they did with this one. So, and it's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if it isn't broken, why fix it? So
yeah, exactly.
And this is the first co-op Resident Evil we got, so
pretty cool.
Not bad. I mean, the only thing I don't like is they made Chris too macho. Then he
oh my god,
be.
yeah,
Like,
he really became the manly man. Like, how did he get so jacked from the first one to 5? Like,
he must have done a lot of bench pressing or something. Like,
yeah, like for real.
Gone to the gym. Okay, now this story takes place in Africa. This is way after 4. And of course, we also are introduced to a new virus. This virus is called the Ouroboros. Now, this virus is very similar to the Los Plagas virus in Resident Evil 4.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I want to say it's a more enhanced version of it.
Okay.
And of course...
So this does introduce the BSAA. Christopher Redfield works for them now.
Yes, it introduces that as well. And he's trying to find Jill.
Yep. They're always trying to find each other.
Yep. And of course, he does find her, but not in the condition he was hoping for. You know, she gets brainwashed, thanks to Wesker's doing, and then, of course, they free her, and she's back to her normal self, and helping out Chris with the islands, escape, yada yada.
Would you say this is where they kind of took the turn of more action-packed Resident Evil?
Yeah, they definitely went in a different direction, but...
Okay.
It's there, but the horror elements are still there too, so it's not like it's bad. I mean, it's still there. And oh my god, the outfits you get at the end of the game. I don't even want to talk about them. They're, like, questionable at best.
Are they?
Yeah.
Are they, like, original content?
Yeah,
or,
they
like,
are. They are.
Costumes?
Yeah. Okay. They totally are. It's just, I don't know. It's something about them. I'm like, I can go without them, really, but, like, whatever. And the enemies are okay. You know, some are fierce. You know, they get nasty later on, as expected. There's giant bugs in this one, of course, so can't forget the bugs. They're annoying if you don't kill them. I think they overdid it with the lickers in this one, honestly. They put way too many of them in this one than they did in 2.
Oh, really?
They really overdone it. But...
Interesting.
Yeah.
How much, or what would you say, like, the ratio, how, like... 2 times or 3 times more?
I would say at least double than what we got in 2. Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah. It is rough. The weapons are good. I don't like the inventory system. I wish it would be bigger for the characters, but again, that's my opinion. And of course, this is like elements from 0, because if you don't share, if one of you dies, the game's over. I don't like that.
Ooh.
Which is rough. But you can upgrade your weapons to have infinite ammo for everything. It just takes time, but you can do it.
You can save in this, right, still, though?
Yeah, you can still save. There's a save option, yeah, so, I mean, they have that still.
So, but if one of you dies, you go back to that save, then?
Yes.
Oh, gotcha.
To the last spot you were at before. But, what else to say about 5? Oh, yeah! Tricell. Tricell is now the new name for Umbrella in Resident Evil 5.
Oh,
because they are working together. Yeah, which is interesting, because you wouldn't think that, but it does happen. It does happen.
I like how the Resident Evil story evolves, and things change and all that, you know?
Oh yeah, they do. They totally do. They kind of have to.
What's the strain called? Sorry about that. What was the strain called again that they have in 5?
Ouroboros.
Ouroboros. Okay.
Yeah, that's the virus to be dealt with.
Gotcha. Okay.
And basically, how this ends is interesting to say the least. Wesker actually meets his demise at the end of 5, which I'm happy about.
Very
he finally
surprising.
gets killed. But yeah. Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
and of course,
not much to 5. There's not much. It's pretty much gun and play, and
yeah, it's pretty much straightforward. There's no puzzles to solve. I mean, just a matter of, you know, having a good time with it. Just
I think Capcom was brave doing that, honestly, because I know a lot of people really love the puzzles and all that solving, but I think that was a brave thing to do to make it just action.
Yeah. I'm fine with that. I mean, not every Resident Evil has to have puzzles to be good.
Right,
so,
right,
I mean,
right. It was a nice little break.
Yeah. All right. We're done with 5. Now on to 6. Oh, man.
Oh, the infamous Resident Evil 6. It's either you love it or you hate it.
I got my original copy still on the PS3.
I do too. I actually do have that too.
Sick. Okay, this doesn't have a book, unfortunately, but...
I think this is when they stopped doing books and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And now, this is the... I like this cover
one...
better than I do the PS3 one, because it actually shows the roster.
Oh, that's cool.
Like, the original copy I have doesn't show the roster, it only shows the cover, so...
Oh, I like that, right though. Yeah, I like that.
So that's a nice little touch to detail from Capcom. So Capcom, congrats on doing that. I really applaud you for that. That is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, alright. So, this one... Sea
this
Virus.
One's pretty crazy.
This one goes all over the place. Now,
it does.
There are multiple characters you can play.
Stories.
Yep. Whole bunch of scenarios going on. Boom, 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 boom. Lots of replay value.
Before we get into the actual plot of it and all that, you can play each story if you want to all the way through. But personally, what I did, I looked it up online. It's on, I believe, Kotaku.
Okay.
And it helps you, and it gives you which way to play it. Sometimes it'll be the first two of Ada Wong's story, and then 3 and 4 of Chris, or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It really helps with the cinematic, and it really gives you a different experience of the entire game.
Oh yeah, it totally does. Like, again, over-the-shoulder view, very nice. Glad they kept that. No puzzles. I mean, actually, there might be some puzzles that are in there, but
they're not. Yeah,
they're not as impactful as they would be. But the game is good. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I feel like it's a little repetitive at times. Like, shoot, get to point A to point B. You know,
right?
Do this to do that. You know.
They did try it. There was a couple underlying things like who Jake is, what he's all about. You find out about that.
Yes. And Sherry's grown up in this one, so...
Yes, yeah.
Fully matured woman. Now, here's the thing. Claire is not in this game. She is absent.
Yeah, I was confused about that a little bit.
Now, you see her in the movies. Again, that's going to be it for another day, and she's in one of the spin-offs too, so that's next week's discussion. And so is Barry's daughter, by the way. She's in a spin-off too, so... But here's the thing with 2. I like it, but I don't like it. I'm kind of in the middle. Like, I like it at times, but... And then there are times that I hate it. Like, why did they go with the way they did with it? I don't understand, but...
The only story that... the really only story that has any kind of feeling of older Resident Evil would be Leon's story.
Yeah. Leon's is, without a doubt, good.
Yeah, it is.
Of the rest of them.
But it still doesn't, yeah, it is. It really is.
And then this is, of course, the first time Leo and Chris actually meet each other.
Yeah,
I actually enjoyed that. I'm not gonna lie.
That scene really, I was like, oh, crap. That's pretty cool.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Ada's also in this. She makes her next appearance, I believe. So.
Yes.
You find out, you go deeper into her backstory also.
Yes, you do. Yeah, you do.
Where she came from and all that.
Yep. Her story is fully fleshed out. Elena's is fleshed out. Sherry's is practically fleshed out at this point. And Jake's is too. Like, all of them are fleshed out in this one. I mean...
Yeah, they are.
About,
I mean, they did do good. I think they did a good job on story-wise. I think gameplay could have been a little bit better overall, but story-wise, I think they did a decent job of intertwining everything.
Yeah. And they brought some of the older bosses back, like the giant snake from 1.
Yes.
They brought that back. Yep, Yawn.
Yes.
Came back. What else? I guess you could say the Uber Stank is close to Nemesis as you're going to get.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, definitely.
I guess that counts from 3. And then who else do we have? Oh, what's his face? Oh god, I forgot his name that Leon fed to fight. Simon, I think his name was, or something like that. I forget his name.
Yeah, I don't remember either. It's been a while. Last time I played that was on the PlayStation 3 also.
Simmons, that's it. It was Simmons. That's it. Simmons,
okay.
yeah. Fighting Simmons in his multiple forms, which I thought was crazy.
Yes, yes.
So he was basically the William Birkin in 2,
Okay.
if you want to go that route.
Yeah.
The vehicle scenes I thought were kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't too bad. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, 6 is not bad. If you guys like it, great. If not, hey, to each their own. I can't judge from that one because
yeah, it's really not in the middle of the game. If you want to play the main stories, though, it's still a critical game to play in the
Yep, it is really good.
I would recommend picking it up still.
I feel like I'm missing one. Am I missing? Or is it in here? Well, I did have Resident Evil 7. I just don't know what I did with it. I apologize for that. I do
this
have
is
it
one
somewhere.
I have actually not played this.
Okay, this game is good. Now, this is a first-person perspective now. They totally did this on purpose to bring back the horror element. So, you're playing this game entirely in first person. There is no third person. There's no over-the-shoulder. You're playing it like you're there. So, boom. That's it. You're there. Now, this game is interesting because this introduces a new set of characters, newer enemies, and a newer virus. This virus is called the Evelyn virus. Now, this, I believe, is the last strain Umbrella did. But this is the weird part. Umbrella's not part of this one. In fact, they are trying to cover up their mess.
Still.
So, yeah. And this game...
But they did make this last strain here.
Yeah, but you do play as a protagonist named Ethan Pierce, looking for his wife. Now, here is the weird thing now. Well, this game, when you first play it, it looks so real. This is the first time they used the Resident Evil engine, because they didn't know if it was going to be good. So this is the power of the Resident Evil engine. You see it in this game, and it shows. Okay, how realistic they got with the characters and everything. So, playing this game, it's not for the faint of heart. I'll tell you that right now. It is not for the faint of heart. If you're squeamish, if you're into not being in claustrophobic areas, then don't play this game, because you're going to be experiencing quite a bit of that. However, the gameplay is pretty solid. I like the weapons. The inventory's not bad. And they introduce item management, which is good. And,
what about puzzles? Did they bring that back at all?
Yes, puzzles are back in this one.
Oh, okay.
And, of course, you got the Baker family. Oh, where to begin with them? Oh, boy. Let's just say they're not your typical family. They will pretty much do whatever it takes to stop you from uncovering the truth. And Jack is the worst of the bunch. He will chase you through no end. He's basically the nemesis.
Oh, so he chases you throughout the game?
Just about, yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. And no matter what you do, he seems to come back until practically the end of the game. You do defeat him eventually.
Okay.
And Evelyn is there, but she... yeah. And then, of course, you got, Marguerite. She's bad, too. She's a nasty boss to fight, but she's doable.
So what are the monsters like, though? Are there monsters, or is it mostly people?
It's mostly the Baker family, and Molden are the creatures you're fighting.
Ah, okay.
And that's it. There's no other monsters. There's no dogs, no zombies, no spiders, no lickers, no nothing. It's pretty much bare bones, this game. Wow. They really went for the horror survival experience with 7.
And this is also the first one with DLCs.
And it got free DLC.
Free. Very
nice. Which was called Not a Hero, which you get to play as Chris Redfield again. And
they actually makes a little return.
Yes. And he looks completely different in this one than he did in any of them. They redid him completely. Yeah. It's an interesting play.
Did they do a good job on the DLCs? Was it a good story to intertwine with the 7 at all?
A bit, yes, it did. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't get all the DLC, but from what I played of it, it's good. It's pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's it for all of the core games. Now we got a Q&A session, and then yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, I just want to say that Resident Evil, is probably one of the greatest franchises ever on console, because, so many other game companies have taken little things, bits and pieces, and made their games from it,
Mm-hmm.
Like, Resident Evil is revolutionary, I believe.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Again, there are a lot of games that are mixed with most people.
Mm-hmm.
Some either love it or hate it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in the majority that love them. I mean, again, 6 is questionable to me. Like, I have it, I like it, I love playing with other people. I think it's great.
Yeah.
But if you're playing by yourself, it's a pain because you don't know what your AI partner is going to do. You don't know if they're going to do the right thing or not or whatever. Right. The games as a whole, they're good. They're very well done. Capcom, you've done an amazing job. I hope you keep up with what you're doing.
I hope they do too. What do you think the future holds? Do you see Resident Evil 8 coming out?
Yes and no. I mean, yes, it's going to take them time because, again, I'm thinking they're going to do it off of the newest hardware they possibly can to push the engine.
Okay.
It would make sense for them to wait for the PS5 or even beyond to push the graphics if they want to go that route.
So it's actually called their own engine. It's Resident Evil engine.
Yes.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty solid.
I was also curious. Yeah, I was curious if they would if they would just back off of the 7, or just keep going with 7, or would we go back and see Leon again or not, or any of them?
That's up to them to decide what they want to do.
Right.
We're only consumers at this point. I mean, we're fans too, but yeah.
I feel like 6 was their kind of grand finale for those characters a little bit.
It probably was. It probably was. It's there. So.
Yeah.
All right, that's pretty much it for this video. If any questions, anything I need answering, confused with anything?
I think you answer everything, man. You know these games.
Yes. All right, so guys, thank you for watching. I hope you like this video. If you are new to my channel, hit that subscribe button, and if you want to hit that bell to be notified of my latest videos. My next one is probably going to be, I want to say... Oh boy. It's going to be next week. For sure. Next week will be the spin-offs. And then the week after that, we'll talk about the movies.
Oh, cool.
And that'll be it for the Resident Evil arc. So,
thank you for having me on your podcast, man. I appreciate it. It was fun.
Not a problem. I hope I get to see you soon, man.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a pleasure. I love it. All right, guys, that's it. Take care. God bless you. Have a good one.